こんにちは。テニスソールのお時間です。今回はスピンサーブの打ち方3ステップを紹介したいと思います。試合で勝つためにはただサーブを入れるだけでは不十分です。特にスピンサーブは相手にとって対応しにくい弾道と回転を生み出し、自分が有利に試合を進めるための強力な武器になります。スピンがかかったサーブは高い弾道で跳ね上がり、リターンを難しくします。またリスクを抑えつつネットを越える軌道を作るため安定感も抜群です。スピンサーブが打てない、サーブに安定感がないという悩みを抱えている方は必見です。海外で人気のテニスコーチ、そしてテニス界のレジェンドの動画を参考にスピンサーブを習得するための方法を紹介したいと思います。ぜひ最後まで見ていってください。
And how to execute the kick serve. So what we're going to do is show you how to do it. So it starts out with the grip. So as we know, we start our serve with the Eastern grip. If you want to get more familiar with that, you can just go ahead and check out the video on basics of how to serve. But with the kick, and this is very advanced, you can slide that grip over from the Eastern grip and you can go further this way. Okay, and you can go further that way because it will give you even more movement on the ball. Because what we want on our kick is, first of all, for it not to be attackable, and we want it to jump. So because we're using these grips and these other techniques I'm going to show you, the ball will jump high and it will also move from left to right. If you're a lefty, it's going to move the opposite way. So what we want is on the kick is, first of all, to jump, and then the extra bonus is hopefully it's jumping and moving. So imagine if you're trying to hit a ball as a returner, not only is it jumping high, but as you're getting ready to set up, it's moving away from you. It's completely out of your strike zone, you're completely off balance, and that's the goal for our kick serve. Now we don't have to just use it for a second serve, we can also use a kick for the first serve. So try to move it over for extra bonus. There you go.
All right, step number 2 is to adjust your toss for the kick serve, which is critical because it's going to affect how you strike the ball. Now, top players like Kyrgios, Sampras, or Federer have mastered the art of hitting their flat and slice serves off of the same toss. And this allows them to disguise their serves until the last minute. Most players, however, will adjust their toss for the kick serve because there's simply more adjusting you have to do with your body and your swing. And you want to adjust your toss in 3 key ways. First, you want to toss a little bit more to the left. How far to the left? Well, if you were standing straight up and you were getting ready to serve, on your flat serves, we generally recommend that you aim the toss so that you're making contact right above your hitting shoulder. On the kick serves, you want the ball to arc a little bit more to the left so that you're making contact right over your head. And some players like Sampras, Rafter, or Thiem make contact even further to the left of their head to create an even more extreme kick effect. You don't want to toss too far to the left. I see a lot of players try to do this when they're trying to exaggerate the kick serve. If you toss too far to the left, you adjust with your body, and at some point you end up falling over to the left. And then because you're pulling away from your shot and you're not able to get your body weight into the serve, you end up losing racket head speed, and as a result, you get less kick. Number 2, players will also toss and make contact in a lower position. Some players like Sharapova or Zverev keep their toss relatively high, and they simply let the ball drop down more. While other players like Federer is doing here will simply toss lower in order to create a lower contact point. Now, I recommend that you do more like Federer and you lower your toss, because if you let the ball drop for longer, it's going to gain speed, and while that can help you to create more topspin, it's generally harder to time, and counterproductively, I see a lot of players slowing down their kick serve swing in order to compensate. And finally, number 3, you'll want to adjust your toss depth, or how far forward you're tossing the ball. Generally, tossing closer to the baseline promotes a more vertical swing path and makes learning your kick serve, at least initially, easier. And as you get used to swinging upward on the ball, you can actually start tossing further into the court. You'll see top servers will often toss well into the court and simply lean their trunk more forward into contact on their kick serves. And this allows them to add even more speed to that kick serve, and it helps them to get that twist effect that we'll cover in a bit. Now, one really important note for your toss is if you have any shoulder or lower back mobility limitations, then you may find that this toss we're recommending is a bit uncomfortable. And that's because the more leftward and more forward you toss, the more contortion is required from your trunk. So instead, you can still hit a very effective second serve and hit it comfortably by tossing more to your left and closer to the baseline.
Now we've talked about the grip, we've talked about the ball toss, but both of these elements help you ultimately with that swing path and the mechanics on the kick serve. Now when I hit a flat serve, my racket is going to be traveling towards my target. So it's going from behind my body to in front of my body towards my target. When I hit a kick serve, however, my racket should be traveling from the left side of my body to the right side. So if we imagine this line, when I'm hitting a flat serve, my racket is traveling with this line. When I'm hitting a kick serve, my racket is traveling with this line. And this is what allows me to then produce that low to high swing and brush the back of the ball, which then gives me that kick. So in terms of the ball, with the flat serve, I may hit the ball somewhere around 12 o'clock if we imagine the ball as a clock face. For the slice serve, I may hit the ball somewhere around 1 o'clock, but it's typically that top half of the ball that I'm hitting. With the kick serve, however, if we want a higher bounce and we want the ball to really go above the shoulders of the opponent, then we want to brush the ball from 7 o'clock, so the bottom left side of the ball, to the top right 1 o'clock. So that 7 to 1 allows us to then go up the ball, brush the ball, producing that top spin, which produces that kick. So it's that low to high swing path that we have to produce in order to actually hit that kick serve consistently well. And here is a great way to work on that upward swing path for your kick serve. So you're holding the ball with your tossing hand, the left hand if you're a right-handed player, simply rolling it off the palm of the hand. A lot of players struggle with this because they start below the ball, and as they make contact, they then go above the ball and try to carve the ball like a slice. So we want to make sure that we're really going from 7 to 1 and brushing up that ball. Now at the same time, the racket is brushing up and across the ball. I want to maintain my body being in that side-on position. So for the flat serve or the slice, I can allow my shoulders to open up. With the kick serve, however, I want to stay in this side-on position. So the left side of my body is contracting. I'm really squeezing my left oblique. And my chest is now facing the right side of the court. So I'm in this position when I make contact. This then allows me to have the racket go from the left to the right side of my body in line with the baseline, which allows me to then have that brush up and across the back of the ball. If I open the shoulders too early and I try to brush the ball, it will be impossible for me to hit that kick serve. I have to be in this position to produce that kick. And here is a great drill to work on staying side on, because you're forced to stay side on from that one knee. I'm tossing the ball more behind my head, more to the left side of my body, and simply brushing up.
今回はスピンサーブを習得するための3ステップを紹介しました。1つ目はグリップをイースタンより薄く。2つ目はトスを頭上または左側に上げる。3つ目は体を横向きに保ち左から右へ振る。でした。さらにスピンサーブを上達させたい方はコメントを残しておいてください。スピンサーブのコツを紹介したいと思います。今後、このようにテニス選手やテニスコーチ、テニスファンに役立つ情報をどんどん発信していくので、ぜひチャンネル登録、高評価をよろしくお願いします。